Good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to be here this fine morning to share some of my thoughts with you on this topic, online tools for building communication skills. I would like to welcome all of you to this program on behalf of the college that has taken this initiative to organize this program. I very specifically thank the principal, Dr. Sukumar, and Dr. Revati for taking this wonderful initiative to bring this opportunity to all of us, to me and to you. So we are here together till about 1 o'clock, I think. I'm not very sure about when it's going to close. It depends on how you get involved in this and how much you make it interactive. And I also would like to take this opportunity to thank every one of you for making this possible to participate in this program. I think there are about 150 people, nearly 160 people already participating in this program. Maybe a few more are likely to join. Welcome, everybody. My presentation today is going to have 4 parts. Part 1 is what communication skills are. Do we have the right perception of what these skills are? Is it a limited number of skills that we have always had in mind, or is it something more than that, or is it something less than that? What exactly are these that we need to consider, especially as English lecturers? I was going through the chat box while the principal was speaking. I find quite a lot of botany lecturers, zoology lecturers, history lecturers, quite a few, and maybe it is not thoroughly relevant to you. I know communication skills are used for everybody, but because the focus is building communication skills, perhaps it may not be as relevant to you as it is to English teachers. Okay, the second thing, I saw the chat. I think many of you have written very good English. There were not many spelling mistakes. There were not many grammar errors. There were not many sentence errors. I'm very happy that the teachers who are participating are really good with their English. But English is not communication. English, one aspect of communication. I'll come to that in the course of my presentation. Okay, item 2 that I'd like to focus on today is skill building techniques. So if we realize what skills our students need, what skills do we need, there must be some techniques of equipping ourselves with those skills. What are those skills that we can build? And the third thing is the main focus of my presentation. Maybe we'll spend nearly 80–90% of my time on this. What are these online tools that are available to teachers? Most of them are free of cost, and tools that are helpful to us to build our own communication skills and to build the communication skills of our students. It's both ways. So it must help the teachers, it must help the students too. That's one. And the last one is some challenges and solutions. I don't have any slides on that. I have left it completely blank. I would like to devote that time for a discussion. In case you have any questions, in case you would like to give any inputs, you would like to make any suggestions, in case you would like to discuss some issues that we are likely to have in the process of using these tools, you are welcome. We'll make it as interactive as possible. I'll try to answer as many questions of yours as I can and as time allows. So this is the structure of my presentation. If you like this structure, if you think it's okay, just type okay in the chat box. Or if you think anything else to be included, you can type there in the chat box there too. Do you think this structure is okay? Or do you want anything else to be added to this? Oh, good. I think I get lots of okays. Oh, quite a few of you are typing okay. I'm very happy that you're already comfortable using the chat box. When I go to some webinars, people are still not comfortable. Yeah, good. This served me 2 ways. One, I'm happy that you like the structure of the program, and 2, many of you are already conversant with using the chat box. That makes my job a little more enjoyable. Thank you so much. Let's move on. Right. We are going to item 1. What are communication skills? right? Is there any redefinition that we need to give to ourselves, or is there any reinterpretation that's needed, or is it much more expansive than what all these years we've been thinking are communication skills? Is there anything else that we need to know? If I ask you this very simple question, what are communication skills? Typically, you have something in mind, right? Especially English lecturers. I just would like to broaden the horizon. I mean, enlarge the vision of what communication skills are. Of course, all of us know that communication skills include the physical skills, the linguistic skills, which of course the English lecturers certainly are very highly focused on. Then there are some cognitive skills, those you have done a B.Ed course or any other teacher training program. And the principal was making some very apt points about, I mean, the larger consequences of learning, the greater scope of what the teacher and the student does. And I think he set the note, absolutely perfectly for this program today. Thank you, principal. Right, so the cognitive, and the emotional ones, often neglected. So we take care of only language, we take care of only grammar, we take care of a few things that we think are real communication skills, and the emotional part of it, the empathy part of it. For instance, the teacher's ability in the classroom to empathize with the student, to emotionally equate with the student, to give a smile, right? To understand, to appreciate, to put herself or himself in their shoes, and to respond to them, to accept, unspoken communication from them. All these things are a much bigger perspective, and those emotional aspects of communication also need to be considered. But let me just caution you here, I am not going to discuss these things with you today, because this is a much larger area. It needs perhaps another 1 or 2 presentations like this. Maybe somebody else will address you at a webinar like this some other time. So what are these cognitive communication skills, emotional communication skills, the physical and linguistic, which are more, we are already a little more familiar with, and all these things perhaps some other time. My interest is slightly different. I'm a part of this. What is that part? So if I just ask you to tell me what communication skills are, can you quickly type in the chat box? What do you think are communication skills? Oh, good. I've started receiving some answers. What do you think are communication skills? Can you just identify some of them? Sharing knowledge, okay. Good. Mr. Shanmuga Priya said, sharing knowledge, and others say exchanging ideas, sharing of feelings, Ahmed said, and communicating one to another, sharing information, knowledge gaining. This is all what communication is. My question is, what are communication skills? Maybe you are telling me what communication is. Okay, somebody has come here. Shanmuga Priya says LSRW. I think non-English teachers may not know that, but I'll tell it to them. So somebody says soft skills also are included. I think somebody has written a long note. I'm sorry, I cannot read that. So many of you say LSRW, EWRC skills, and etc., etc., etc. Okay, I'll stop there for a moment. Thank you very much for your responses. Yes, these 4, the language skills, not communication skills, the 4 language skills are often, maybe I don't know if I should use the word mistaken, they're often mistaken to be communication skills. These are language skills. Irrespective of the language we are speaking and using, English, Telugu, Sanskrit, physics, Bengali, whatever language you speak at home or in school, right? These are skills relating to your language. How proficiently you use these skills decides how effective your communication is, because communication often depends upon the language that we use. Okay, so I have deliberately used the ing forms of all these. Instead of saying listen, speak, read, and write, I have used the action verbs there, listening. And I also added one word to each one of them. Listening itself is not a great communication skill or a great language skill. Listening effectively is a skill. Right? Everybody listens, everybody hears. Again, I'll come to the difference between hearing and listening a little later, but everybody listens, everybody speaks, everybody reads, everybody writes, even the educated, uneducated, and the very highly educated, students, teachers, public, the general public, the layman, the man on the street, everybody does all these four things, or maybe some of them perhaps cannot do right, or maybe read, but at least all of them can speak and listen. Isn't it? Even a vegetable vendor also knows how to listen and how to speak. So it's not that that's not enough. We must, as teachers, know how to listen effectively. And we need to teach our students how to listen effectively. That's the job that we have in the class. Listening is not enough. Listening effectively is the order of the day, is the need of the hour. So every teacher must know the art of building these four skills, which are language skills. And to repeat, so language skills are a part of communication skills, and language skills do not relate to English alone. Language skills relate to the language that you speak. Any language. It can be your mother tongue or a foreign tongue. It can be your first language or a second language. It can be the language that you are absolutely comfortable in, or it's a language that you're just picking up and are beginning to learn. So these four skills, I think you are sure about what I would like to say. I've added a few more skills to language skills. These are, everybody knows them, but they are not very popularly listed under language skills. Language skills include a sufficiently large vocabulary. Vocabulary means words, enough words, the right words. So an ability to use words, again, effectively, not only knowing the words, but ability to use the words effectively is also a language skill. Right? If I do not know enough words, my language, my communication is affected. Right? Is to some extent hampered. And that's why I need to have a good vocabulary too. My grammar must be good. So ungrammatical sentences are usually not accepted, or that's some kind of miscommunication. A sentence in wrong grammar, a sentence whose structure is not right, sends wrong or ineffective communication. Then pronunciation. Your language may be good, and you know how to listen, how to speak and all that, but your pronunciation is bad. Again, communication may not happen, or it may happen wrong. So these three things add to the list that many people have written LSRW. I appreciate. I think more than 10 of you have listed them. I am very happy that you have written them there. So add these three also to them. So LSRW plus V plus G and plus P are language skills, these 7. Apart from these 7, I've added a few more using the right volume, the right speed, ability to ask questions, right? Ability to seek clarifications also are language related communication skills. If I don't know how to ask questions, many times I lose communication because I have not mastered the art of asking a question. Or I have not mastered the art of seeking a clarification when I don't understand something. I don't have the habit of raising hand. I don't have the habit of stopping the speaker. And it can happen at home. It can happen in the classroom. So I am listening to somebody at home and then they have said something. I have not been able to properly hear that, or I have not understood that. I don't seek a clarification. If I know the language of seeking a clarification, I can use that. This is both emotional and this is a soft skill as well as a language skill. So I'm calling it a language skill because I must know the language that's needed to seek a clarification. I'm looking at it from that point of view. Otherwise, it's a soft skill. Okay? Interpersonal skill, soft skill, etc. Now, you might have already noticed that I have filled only half of my slide on the left side. So there must be something more to come. right? It's not only language skills, entire thing, the complete list I have on that left side is language skills. There is something more. What's that? The second set of skills that you need to communicate with others. In fact, this is much, much more important than language skills. And I think all of you know, especially teachers know that more than 70–80% of communication happens with body language more than with the verbal language that we use. Right? So your body speaks much more than your tongue. Your body has the capability, has the potential, has the talent to convey much more deeper nuances of a message that you would like to convey than the words that you're using, the sentences that you're using. So body language, as you know already, includes your eye contact, includes your gestures, includes your posture, how you stand, how you sit down, how you move about, how you make eye contact with the speaker or the listener, right? And how attentive you are to what you are listening to and to whom you are speaking. And being even courteous, that again is partly soft skill and partly body language, because I mean, courteous people's body language is slightly different. Okay, so these are all aspects of body language. Today, my focus is not on this. So I don't have any slides on this, and I'm not going to speak about this, right? This is maybe another area, and maybe one more presentation, perhaps some other time by somebody else will help you. Then I have listed 1 and 2 there. There is a third thing. I am talking to students now, in case there are any students here. However good you are with your own language, most likely it's Telugu, I think, in this case, right? Whatever be your competence, whatever be your proficiency with the language that you speak, I think you're listening, speaking, reading, writing, okay, everything is extraordinarily perfect as far as your Telugu is concerned. Your body language also is extraordinarily good. But in the modern world, in the modern market, that is not enough. Everyone, whatever job you want to take up tomorrow, wherever you want to be, in whatever situation you find yourself, even if you accept a small job in a small place, English has become indispensable today. Give whatever importance you want to give to whatever language. I mean, you don't have any problem, but you must also simultaneously become competent in English as well. So I have put that exclusively as a very, in fact, in my opinion, that is 1. English language skills is 1, language skills is 2, and body language skills is 3. So every teacher, every student, every administrative executive, everybody in every walk of life, these days, we can't change the political equations, we can't change the global developments, whether you like it something, whether you have a flavor for it or not, whether you like it or not, you have to be in tune with what's developing across the world, and you have to go with the world. And the whole world is becoming one small village today. The world is coming to India. India is going out into the world, and we have to learn English, and we have to use English absolutely competitively and confidently and proficiently. So English language skills also contribute to your communication skills. So these are the 3 broad areas I would like to categorize communication skills into, apart from the 4 different things that I told you in my previous slide, right? I think you remember them, right? The 4 things that I told you: the physical skills, the linguistic skills, the cognitive skills, and the emotional skills. But when we are looking at the physical and the linguistic skills, and partly the other 2 kinds of skills, these are the things that you need to take into account. In case you have a notebook with you, you can make notes whenever you want. And 2, in case you know how to take screenshots on your mobile phone or on your laptop, you can take them so that you can use them again for later use. Most mobile phones, smartphones, if you just use your 3 fingers and stretch them from top to bottom, I think the screenshot is automatically saved. I think most smartphones allow that. You can check how it is done. In case for your phone has a different way, you can save them and use them later. Okay, before I move on, if you think that this categorization of communication skills into these three components is okay, you can again type okay in the chat box. Or if you have anything to add to that, please tell me. Somebody says, can we get this PPT? I'm asking you to take the whole PPT and the entire video also will be sent to you. Oh, quite a lot of you are saying, okay, that's good. That makes my job easier. Thank you very much. I see answers are flowing in. Many of you are saying, okay, that's good. Right. Let's move back here and then let's see. So the premise on which I am beginning is that the LSRW that we often think of is only one small portion of the communication skills. Communication skills is a much bigger thing. Even in terms of the language that we are planning to master, there are at least 3 other things needed: vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. And apart from that, we need to take care of our body language. And English is one language that cannot be ignored by anybody at any level: school, college, university, teacher, non-teacher, working in India, working outside, and young or old, man or woman, whatever, wherever. Right? So this is where we begin. Okay, let's quickly move on to the second thing. So I told you what communication skills are, my opinion. So that is my view of what communication skills are. And the second thing, how to build these communication skills. Are there any techniques? Are there any tips? Are there any easy ways? Are there any shortcuts? Oh, I think books, large, huge books have been written about this topic, how to build communication skills. But let me share my opinion with you, right? The question is how to build communication skills. I don't have too many answers to give you. I have only one answer. And if you remember that, I think that serves your purpose 100% thoroughly well. Instead of giving you 100 tips to build your communication skills, I'm giving you one tip, that is practice, 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 practice. No alternative to that, no substitute to that, no easier way than that, nothing simpler than that, nothing surer than that. You might have noticed that I've used the verb form there, P-R-A-C-T-I-S-E. I'm not using the CE form. So CE is a noun, SE is a verb, right? I am asking everyone who wants to build communication skills to practice using the communication skills you want to build. So this is my advice to you. Please practice, please practice, please practice. I'm asking you to do it. I think I don't need to tell teachers, skills cannot be actually taught. I cannot teach you swimming in a classroom. I cannot teach you dancing in a classroom. I cannot teach you driving a car in a classroom. I can teach you only the theory of that. Right? If I want to teach you dance, you have to dance, no substitute. I cannot dance in front of you. Okay, I've demonstrated excellent dance performance. I'm such a great dancer. Now start dancing. You cannot. The same thing with any other skill too, a game. Right? Students understand cricket better, for instance. So suppose I make you sit in my classroom and then teach you cricket for 3 years. Graduation, cricket, right? BSc cricket, BA cricket, some course I introduce, and 3 years I teach you grammar. The weight of the ball, the size of the bat, the shape of the field, and the names of the places where people stand and all that. After 3 years, I give you a bat and go and ask you to go out into the field and play. What happens? I think I don't need to tell you. You can guess that. But if I change my classroom to the physical field outside, if I take you out right on the first day, I think those who have joined the driving classes know this. Right on the first day, what does that driving school do? On the first day, they'll make you sit inside in that bucket seat where the steering is there, and they ask you to begin driving. You have the ignition, you have the brakes, you have the, of course they are there supporting you. So learning any skill must happen like that. That's the only way. I think I'm taking a little more time here on this one single slide that I have on how to build communication skills, but I think this is very important for you to understand. Many English teachers, unfortunately, believe in teaching these skills to students. Completely lost. What happens? The student perhaps passes the examination, because examination is different, facing an interview is different. I mean, I hear lots of complaints, thousands of complaints coming from companies where I go. I sit on some interview committees for maybe more than half a dozen big companies in Hyderabad. They call me for conducting interviews, etc. And the often made complaint is, who taught them English? They can't speak one sentence right. Their English is so bad. So it's not the teacher that's bad, it's the technique that's bad. It's a methodology that's bad, right? It's a practice that's missing in the classroom. Suppose I go to a class, I'm an English lecturer, I go to a class and 50 minutes, I speak to the students extremely brilliant English. And at the end of the year, my question to you, whose English improves? You can type in the chat box if you want. I go to class every day. I'm a good teacher, conscientious teacher. My English is very good. And every day I go and I demonstrate my language skills to my students, and I speak very bright. And at the end of the year, whose English improves? I think Ganesh and Syed Ashgar and Lakshmi and Usha and quite a few of you have given the answer. Yes, you are all right. Thank you very much. Wonderful. I think it's the teacher's English that improves. Because the student has not been speaking in my English class. The student has never written anything before going to the examination. Even the examination also, that's not writing. That is, I mean, reproducing. That's a different skill. Okay? So don't mistake between the two. I'll come to that again later. So in case I speak good English, it's my English that's improving every day, but the student's English does not change because he has never used English. The word use, underline that, U-S-E. Languages can be learned only by using them. Skills can be learned only by using them. If swimming can be learned by swimming, if dancing can be learned by dancing, if driving can be learned by driving, speaking, reading, writing, listening, etc. can be learned only by speaking, only by reading, only by writing, only by reading. If you understand that one principle, you are a great English lecturer all your life. As long as you don't understand this, you are damaging your own career and your students' future. Any English lecturer who does not give opportunity for students to use English practically on one's own. There is enough time in my class for my students to practice English. If I have not done that, what have I done? One, I have done injustice to my job. Okay. I mean, one man is lost. That's not a problem. But the future of 100 students in my class is destroyed. They are useless tomorrow. They are incapable of doing anything outside. So English teachers, Telugu teachers, Sanskrit teachers, Hindi teachers, whatever language you are teaching, please keep this in mind. Your class must have opportunities for students to actively engage themselves in using the language that you are teaching. If you are a Sanskrit teacher, stop teaching Sanskrit. Allow your students to use Sanskrit. If you are a Hindi teacher, stop using Hindi on your own or minimize that and maximize the opportunity that you give your students to use that language. And the same applies to English teachers as well. So I have only one slide on this and I have only one tip on this. I have not given too many tips, and this tip is not difficult to practice if we understand the importance of this. Are you all with me? You can, in case you agree with me, you can go to that, you can give me a thumbs up. I think you know how to give. There is a small tool below which allows you to give a thumbs up. Oh, you have written thumbs up. Somebody has written thumbs up. That's good. There is also a small tool there at the bottom. Good, good, good. Oh, yeah, I get them. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Somebody has said, yes, I agree. We should read the newspaper daily. Okay, I'll come to that a little later. Why we should read the newspaper? What do we? Oh, somebody has given me 100 thumbs ups. Who is that? It's one Mr. Reddy, Vidya Sagar Reddy, I think. Uday Sagar Reddy. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's move on from here. Thanks a lot. Okay, so this is the one tip that I wanted to give you to help your students build communication skills and also to help yourself build communication skills. In case you want to build your own communication skills, start using the language. Right. Okay, this is the most important focus area. Maybe I'm going to spend about an hour on this third part of my presentation. What are the online tools available to me to help me and to help my students build communication skills? I'll take you through all those 7 language skills that I listed during one of my first slides. Right? Let's move from here. The first one. I want to improve my students' listening skills, and I also want to naturally improve my listening skills. Principle 1, if I want to improve my listening skills, I have to listen. If I want to improve my students' listening skills, I have to make them listen more carefully, more attentively. How does that happen? Right? Are there any tricks, tips, guidelines, simple mechanisms to help me? I'll come back to this slide in 1 or 2 minutes. Let's just try this. This is a small activity for all of us. I think English teachers and other teachers also perhaps know the difference between hearing and listening. All of you know? Yes? Sure. I think you know. What I'll do is, maybe if you have a notebook with you, please draw a small chart like this. I mean, write hearing on the left side and listening on the right side on your notebook. If you don't have a notebook with you, you can use your mobile phone, you can use a new window on your laptop, or you can just at least, write them in your mind. In fact, I sent you a message last night asking you to keep a notebook with you. It's okay in case you have not done that. It's still fine, but you can think of it. I am going to play a 1-minute audio to you. And what do you need to do? From that audio, the audio tells you the differences between hearing and listening. What's hearing? What's listening? Sorry. You have to make as many items, note as many items as possible. What is the difference between hearing and listening? If you need, I'll play it a second time, but just listen to it. Are you all ready? I hope you are ready. Let me play it now.
Hearing is when you experience the sound waves and noise by your ears. But listening is when you receive the sound waves and understand by paying full attention to the speaker. Hearing is an ability. Listening is a skill. Hearing is physiological and listening is psychological. Hearing is a passive bodily process at the subconscious level. But listening is an active mental process at the conscious level. Hearing does not require concentration. Listening requires focus.
Okay, you have heard that, I think. Before we go to see the answers, let me tell you a few things. One, that's my own voice. I recorded that and I played it for you. And this is to demonstrate what teachers can do with the available technologies. Right? When I'm showing a slideshow, I could have read it out for you, but I wanted to demonstrate that this is possible with very easy, free technologies that are available to us. Okay, coming back to this, right? The differences between hearing and listening. In case you have 1 or 2 points grasped, you can type them in the chat box, please. Somebody says it's excellent. Okay, thank you. Yeah, yes, Rekha says yes, maybe she might have used this already, such tools. Can you list one difference between hearing and listening that I made? Hearing is an ability, yes, and it's a physiological passive, yes, and somebody says hearing is an ability, hearing is comprehending, hearing is passive and listening is active, yes, right? Okay, hearing is just sound waves, listening is a skill, right, right. Listening, does it need concentration or no? It needs, yes. Okay, something is receiving. I think maybe you do not have enough time to type whole sentences, but I'm happy that you're all doing it and you have listened with focus. Okay, let me stop there. And I just would like to play it just for the sake of listening it a little more carefully. I'll play it a second time. Just listen to that again.
Hearing is when you experience the sound waves and noise by your ears. But listening is when you receive the sound waves and understand by paying full attention to the speaker. Hearing is an ability. Listening is a skill. Hearing is physiological and listening is psychological. Hearing is a passive bodily process at the subconscious level. But listening is an active mental process at the conscious level. Hearing does not require concentration. Listening requires focus.
Okay, now again, before I ask you for more answers, suppose I played this audio to you in the class. Suppose you're all my students, I am your teacher today, and you're all sitting in my class, a physical class, and I play this audio to you without giving you any assignment. I just say, okay, students, come on, I'm going to play an audio to you. Please listen to me. What do you think will be the attention span or attention of to that audio clip that I'm going to play? Maybe most likely the attention is not going to be very, very deep. So I played a trick. Can anybody unmute? If Revati is there, maybe you can unmute one or two participants to answer this question. What trick have I played? In case you raise your hand, Revati will unmute you, you can speak. You know how to raise your hand? I think you can do that. I think Subramaniam Reddy has raised his hand. Revati, can you? I am doing it for you. Mr. Subramaniam Reddy, can you unmute yourself now? One second. Maybe I think you can do it now. Shanmuga Priya?
Yes,
Excuse me, sir.
Shanmuga Priya, will you play? First,
Hello,
Shanmuga
sir.
Priya will speak first.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Sir, you made the students to be involved by playing
Oh.
them that audio.
No,
So-
I told you that I played a small trick to ensure their attention.
Yeah, finding out the differences in order to improve their comprehension level, in order to improve their listening skills,
Right.
and
Shall
one
I
way
get
of
in?
making them to
Sir, shall I get
participate.
in?
Mr. Subramaniam, yes. Yes, Subramaniam, please.
nagaRAJU, sir, may I?
One after another, please.
Sir, actually, by giving the hearing and listening box, you set the target. Rather than just giving information,
Thank
you
you
set
so
the
much.
target. You fixed the target, and which made us pay attention to that particular thing.
Thank you very much. I am disabling unmuting now. I'm sorry. There were quite a few others also who were interested, but now that somebody has given me the answer that I was looking for, maybe others will get opportunities later. So what I did is, instead of asking you to listen to this clip, before I played the clip, I gave you an assignment. I gave you a task. What was the task? the task was, I told you, okay, prepare a chart like this. Right, on one side you have this hearing, on the other side you're listening, and you are going to listen to something about this, and you make as many notes as possible, or if necessary you make some mental notes, identify the differences. So I set a task. So by setting the task, what happened? Listening has happened much more focused. In case I do this in my class, naturally my students will look for answers. While they are listening to that, they are waiting for an answer to come. So I gave them a question first. Okay, I'm going to play a video. You have to listen to that carefully. You have to tell me in which year something happened. So they are waiting for that year to be said. So I gave them a task. Once there is a task before the students listen to something, the attention to that, to what they are listening to, will be much, much, much higher, greater, deeper. This is one tool, one trick that every teacher has to learn. So whether you are going to play a song or a dialogue or whatever in your class, never begin without a task. So what is the procedure? First, give a task, then play the audio. 3, check whether the task has been fulfilled or not. And if necessary, play the audio a second time, a third time, a fourth time, a fifth time, till your students become a little more proficient in that. Without that, listening does not happen. Listening is simply hearing, that's all. They just pay, they hear to this, but nothing more than that. If you want their attention, there must be a purpose for that attention that you are demanding. Okay, so this is the text that I read, right? So in case I am in a real class, what would I do? I would also show them the text so that in case my students did not get it right, maybe they can check their answers once again. I also highlighted some text so that my students will remember that something is by ears, something is full attention, something is physiological, psychological, etc., etc. So the highlights that I wanted to focus on, I'm sorry, I think some of the words are flowing over from one line to another. Sorry for that. Okay, so this is how we can make our listening classes a little more effective. Listening can be taught only by doing something like this. Just because I go to the class and teach them a lesson every day, listening does not happen. There's no guarantee that the student is listening to you. So there must be a technique for you to check how much they have comprehended from what they have listened to. Then only listening is happened. Otherwise, they perhaps were sitting in your class or they were attending to, in case I did not check this today on this virtual website. Of course, here the possibility is not there to give opportunity to many more people. Only 2 of you could speak. There were at least 5 or 6 other people who had risen their hands. But anyway, so unless this cross-checking is not done, the purpose is not achieved. Okay, now let me go back to this slide. So these are some websites I have carefully chosen for you to help you build your listening skills and your students' listening skills. Right? So I think in case you want, you can take a screenshot. There are thousands of them. I have chosen only 5, which I think are good for teachers, English teachers. I'm going to show one of them to you. I think this breaking news English is very good. This is my favorite also. Just give me a few moments. I'm going to that website. I'll show you how it works. Okay, so this is the website. What do you see? The most important thing that you see is a lot of latest news items. Man proposes beneath once in 6,800 year comet. Basic income for poor could slow COVID-19 spread. Something related to COVID. So what do? They choose, every day it changes. This is today's news. From some global websites. They cull data from various sources and they put them together. 22nd July, this is dated 22nd July, this is dated 24th July, 26th July. So they choose one from somewhere, maybe every 1 or 2 days, and make it available to people like us. And let's just go here. For instance, maybe COVID might interest us. I'm not sure what it's more details about it, but let me see. Okay, what do I find here? I can use this listening news item to print that, to listen to that, to read, to build grammar skills, to build spelling skills, to build vocabulary, and a lot more. This is only minimal. So one news item can be used by the teachers for 100 different things. For instance, I want to teach grammar. I can have a gap fill activity. I can teach them articles, the definite and indefinite articles. I can teach prepositions. I can teach word order using the same news item that I am going to listen to. Okay, so I think you've understood that. Let me move from here. Right, if you come down, there is a warm-up activity. Before I play this audio to my students, is there something that I can do to motivate them, to ready them to listen to me? So a warm-up activity is ready. You need not think of an icebreaker. You need not, search through web to identify the best available. Already it's given to you, right? Then there are lots of advertisements because it's a free. Remember, all free websites have lots of advertisements. You have to bear with them. If you have a paid version, naturally there are no advertisements. So if there are advertisements which are distracting your attention, which are a little painful to you, you have to bear with them because you are getting it absolutely free of cost. Somebody is paying it for you, right? Suppose I want to teach vocabulary. So this news article that I'm going to listen to has these words and these words in the first and second paragraphs. I can focus on them. The meanings, I did not do glossary work. I did not go to a dictionary. I did not go and sit down and spend time. The lesson is ready. The lesson plan is ready. Before reading, I can give them some true yes or no questions. I can do a synonyms match. I can do a phrase match, right? I can do a gap fill activity, right? And I can have a listening program and a comprehension exercise. Listening, listen and fill. As I play, I think the audio clip, you can fill in these gaps. Comprehension questions, multiple choice questions, role plays, after reading, right? Post-reading activity and various levels of that. Student survey, discussion, another discussion, language activity, spelling activity, and put the text back together, put the words in the right order, correct them, insert spellings, right? Punctuate, free writing exercise, homework, and a lot more based on one news item that they have chosen from somewhere in the world, right? I'm coming back here to the beginning of this. Then how does it work? Suppose I want to use it in my class. What do? I think this is basic level 1. One second, just give me a second. Listen. Where is this? I'm searching for this link. Okay, I'm going to the basic 0, basic 1. I'll choose level 2. This is a higher level. The same paragraph used again at a higher level. So I'll go back from here. Right. Yes. So this is the one. I am playing it now. Where has this link gone? Yeah, this one, right. So the beauty about this is what I wanted to demonstrate. When I take this, see this ready-made lesson plan for me. Suppose I take it to the class. The most wonderful feature is here. What is this feature? Suppose I go to the class and take this audio clip with me. Depending on the level of my students, I can choose what speed is good for them. 5 different possible speeds are there. So from slow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 speeds. For instance, my students are very weak. Their listening skills are not very good. Their English is not great. Or they may not understand this accent thoroughly. So I can play it very slow like this.
Basic income for poor could slow COVID-19 spread. This is breakingnewsenglish.com. This would cut the risk of the virus spreading. It would cost $199 billion per month.
So what do I do?
The world must take...
I don't use this. In my class, I go to a faster speed and I play this.
This would cut the risk of the virus spreading. It would cost $199 billion per month. The world must take special action.
I think you understood. So, I mean, such a beautiful, well-built website to help English teachers and students that there is everything that you can think of. In fact, though it's a listening lesson, you can still use it for reading and other uses also. For instance, suppose your students are so very, lost that they are not able to follow it at all. You want the text also. While they are listening to you, you want to, follow the text as well. You can just go here and what happens here, let's see. So as you are playing this, what's happening? They can see the text also. So the text is scrolling. So whatever speed you've chosen, suppose you've chosen the slow speed, the website is playing what they see, like you see on the television, the scrolling text. So as you speak, the same text you can see on the screen also, and you can match. I don't think you should use this version because, your students will be more reading than listening, but in case you want to check, suppose you're giving them an exercise and after they have done the exercise, you would like them to check you're playing a second time or a third time. So they are seeing the text scrolling on the screen. You can actually enlarge the screen also and they can check so whether they've got it right or wrong. I think the class will be excited. I think there'll be real good listening because you've used those comprehension questions or vocabulary questions or grammar questions or something. Maybe you began with that and then you gave this exercise. They've listened to it once or twice and they're now checking the answers. Suppose you play a song, a music bit or whatever. I think your listening classes will be absolutely smashing. Right? So this is one beautiful website that I wanted to demonstrate to you. I'm stopping here. I'm going back to my, So this was the point where we started. So all these, you can try the others. I don't have time to demonstrate all these websites to you. And you can try this one. This was actually the same lesson, Breaking News English, but I had chosen an old one. Now I played the live one to you. I thought maybe in case the live video, sometimes because of broadband, it may not play in the class. So you must have a standby. You must have a backup. So that's what I did. I had
broccoli and avocado slow down aging. This is breakingnewsenglish.com.
Website and I had everything ready.
Help
here.
may be here if you want to keep the wrinkles and grey hair.
I'll stop here. Right. So what was the skill that we're trying to build there? Listening. Right? How many of you will promise me that you will try that skill or that website that I demonstrated to you? If you say, yes, I will, I'll be very happy. I'm going to the chat box and the chat box is open. And if you promise me that you will try this website or any similar website, I'll be very happy. Yes, I see Udayagiri Reddy, Usha Rani. I think the same people are answering every time. Kanti, Ramella, Usha Rani, Naga Padma, Kavita, Kavya, Sujani, and Venugopal, Yasmin. All of you are promising me. I'm so very happy. Thank you very much. Please try it. Either the website that I showed you, Breaking News, or maybe any other website. I gave you a list of them. Or maybe you can search your own. the list that I am giving you is limited. Maybe there are only 4, 5, 6 websites that I can list there, but I think there are hundreds of them. Maybe the ones that you know are better than the ones that I have searched for. I have searched and made a list only for you. Till the last 1 week, I worked on them and found these. I think in case you search, you will find still much better ones. Something that suits you appropriately, your occasion, your situation, your students, your level. So please do that. I'm very happy that at least some 40 or 50 of you have given me a yes answer. Thank you, every one of you. Somebody has just said he has already opened it. Good. That's why I asked you to go to the laptop and then try this. And then in case you bring your laptop, you can try it. Wonderful. I think somebody says we'll post more links on this chat box a little later. I think you don't need any links. Maybe you can just take a screenshot. That works. Right. Okay, let's move on to the next item. The next skill that I've chosen to talk to you about is the pronunciation skills. Listening and pronunciation are not the same, but they are related. Right? If you know how words are pronounced right, maybe your listening is easier because your pronunciation and the various clips that you hear perhaps are in different standards, and it might sometimes need you to become perfect in your pronunciation also. And also for your own, from your own point of view also, when you speak to others, you must be understood, right? Yeah, otherwise, the whole purpose of communication is lost. So listening is an important skill, and pronunciation, one of those 7 that I listed in the morning, is an equally important skill. So again, I have chosen some 4 websites that give you excellent tools to build your skills, your pronunciation skills, and also to improve your students' pronunciation skills. I'll just take a look at one of them if possible. The whole problem that students of English, I mean non-native users of English have is there is a lot of confusion because Telugu, if we have some 56 letters, there are 56 sounds, there is no problem. But English is not like that. So we have to impress upon our students that there are 26 letters, but there are 44 sounds in English. So the letters and sounds are 2 different things. Many English teachers also make this mistake. English does not have 26 alphabets. English has only 1 alphabet. Telugu has only 1 alphabet. Sanskrit has only 1 alphabet. Every language has 1 alphabet. In that alphabet, there are many letters. Okay, the English alphabet has 26 letters. Of course, this for us, not for the students. Okay, so the problem with English is, though there are 26 letters, there are 44 sounds. These 26 letters can produce 44 different sounds, standard, internationally accepted, IPA-based sounds. And every English teacher must know this. Directly or indirectly, your students also should know this. I mean, English evolved from different backgrounds, different historical issues, geographical areas, and then English is one of the fastest developed language because it is like a piece of sponge. It absorbed from everywhere. Wherever the British went, they absorbed features of local languages and then they built English language like that. Languages that do that grow. Languages that think, no, we don't want to accept anything from anywhere. We want to be pure. So the moment you think that languages must be pure, you are closing the doors. Right? You are not allowing the language to go beyond. That's why some Indian languages, unfortunately, are dead today. Languages must always be live. Languages must all be absorbent. We must accept new words. We must, assimilate words from everywhere. Right? Okay, that's a different subject altogether. Let me not go into that controversy now. So 26 letters, 44 sounds is one problem. The second problem is, people say that A, E, I, O, U are vowels. No. A, E, I, O, U are vowel letters. They are not sounds. A is not a sound. It's a letter. E, I, O, U in the alphabet, in the English alphabet, are 5 letters. these 5 letters can produce 20 different sounds. And similarly, the remaining 21 are consonant letters. They are not consonants. They are consonant letters. B, D, F, etc. So they are consonant letters. These 21 consonant letters can produce 24 different consonant sounds. So 24 plus 20, totally there are 44 sounds. In English language, one letter can produce many sounds, and one sound, the same sound, can be produced by many different combinations of letters or many different letters. This is one feature that is different between Indian languages, many Indian languages, and English. So this must be impressed upon when we are teaching English. English teachers must know it and must also impress upon the students about this, so that, students begin understanding it better. Okay, there is another thing that I would like to tell you before I move. So in case I want to teach my students these features of English, so I need to know some techniques. I will not go into these details. Again, this is another webinar for me. So these things are tools that teachers can use to build students' pronunciation. So demonstrate the sound to them, distinguish one sound from another, do lots of drills, dictate sounds and words and then ask them to spell them, or the other way around, play games in the class, and whenever possible, use mother tongue equals. They're not equals actually, they're close ones, a sound that's similar to the target sound. So in case you can use these tricks in your class, perhaps do them and then teach your students pronunciation, etc. Right. Then there are some websites, there are many websites actually, where there are such charts available. So what will they do? For instance, I don't know how this sound is pronounced. I can click this.
Okay.
So I can listen to that and then I can identify whether my own way of pronouncing is right or wrong. Remember, G is a letter, G is a sound. T is a sound. T, this is T, this is a sound, and T is a letter. Don't get confused between the two. I think I don't need to explain it to English teachers, but non-English teachers know that when some symbol is given within what do you call them? Bars like this, cross bars like that. So that is a sound, that's not the letter. Okay, so we have many Indian students have these problems and they are called diphthongs. So, we need to take them separately. But what I'm not going to teach you pronunciation today. What I'm trying to teach you is that there are tools available to us. The topic today given to me is online tools. So this is a tool that's readily available. Any English teacher can take it to the class, even on a mobile phone. This can easily be downloaded. You can directly play it from the website. So you can take it to the class and you play it. And if you also encourage your students to play them and listen to them carefully, I think their pronunciation can improve in a big way. Let me come back to this first slide. Okay, let's try any one of them. I think BBC is the best. FOVO also is a very good one. Let's try FOVO. What can we do using this website? Right, this is the website. So this is a pronunciation dictionary. It begins with FOVO, the website. On the cover page, on the front page, has a pronunciation dictionary. Suppose I type the word pronunciation itself, right? And I click it here. So what does it do? It gives me the pronunciation of the word pronunciation.
Pronunciation.
How does that sound? Very good. So it's a pronunciation dictionary. The beauty about this is, this dictionary is built by people like you and me. So somebody has contributed this pronunciation and it is already available here, approved and kept here. And you can also go to other languages, you can look for a definition of the word, right? If you want the meaning of this word, and there are 33 people who have pronounced this word and have contributed it to this website. This is an open source document, and then like Wikipedia. Like in Wikipedia, anybody can contribute an article which will be curated, edited, revised, improved, etc. Similarly here also, in case you want to have your own contribution, you can pronounce the word and you can upload it. And in case you are lucky and if you're right, and it will be uploaded here. So pronunciation dictionary. And there are lots of other things that you can do. It's not only just a word, you can type a whole sentence and you can have its transcription available to you. You can have many other things. You can have, I've just checked one, maybe there are also British and American variants. Suppose you want to listen to the British American variation, you can do that also. So it will play the American pronunciation to you. I don't have time to demonstrate every feature that's built into this. I think, let me stop here. And this is how you say something. This is another good website. I'm not playing BBC because that's, I think, already popular. You know it. This is a free online audio dictionary, right? Let's see how it works here. So this is slightly different from what you saw in the previous one. And what does it do? So one, you play the
pronunciation of. You
gave the word pronunciation, but all the related phrases also are included here. Pronunciation, pronunciation of, pronunciations, and if there are many other words also. And you can also find the definition here. You can just quickly check the definition of it. It takes you to the dictionary and it gives you the pronunciation of that. Then you can translate that into many languages. Of course, Telugu is not there in that, but there are many. In case you are learning a foreign language, right? You can translate that here itself. So many features again, right? Let me go back. And I think the other two also are good. Please try them, right? In case you want to transcribe a whole sentence, right, into its phonetic transcription or phonemic transcription, I think there are websites that can help you. And for Dentist, right? Let's move from here. That's about pronunciation. Have you liked these websites that help us build pronunciation skills? Please say yes. In case you like them, good. I think Vijay Sundar had said yes. And Harika has joined him. And anybody else who likes these? Or do you know any other website that gives us tools to build pronunciation? Sri Vijaya Durga, Jyoti, Kalaivani, and Radhika. I'm sorry if I'm not able to read these because they are, moving very fast. Ganesh and Anita, very useful. Yes, you loved it. Good. Thank you. Samuel Raju, and this is nice website, K. Lakshmi Devi, D. Lakshmi Devi, sorry. And Jogender, excellent. Yeah, good. So that's good. So that makes me move to the next slide. Okay, thank you very much. How to pronounce, I've already demonstrated that, Shanmuga Priya. So it plays the pronunciation for you. And you can also, some websites also help you record your own pronunciation and check parallelly. So you identify one website where your pronunciation and the standard pronunciation are compared to each other. Or you can overlap your pronunciation, both get recorded together, and you can try them back and you will know if there is a difference. And they are more useful in case you are learning stress, intonation, and other things, right? Okay, I wish I had much more time to demonstrate them. Let me go on to reading. Reading is the next skill that I'd like to focus on, and let me just check how much time do we have. It's 11:30, right? Okay, so reading. How do I build reading skills in my students? Okay, so these are I mean, 3 websites that I've chosen. Actually, I found hundreds of them. Very, very interesting again. Each one of them is good. See, when I was searching for these websites, I had 2 or 3 conditions in my own mind. They survive on advertisements and donations. People like us can donate money to them, or people advertise and they survive. The second category, they are, I mean, partial. Part of it is free. The advanced levels are paid. So you can do the initial things or the beginning versions or the lower levels of it completely free. But if you want to move ahead and reach a level higher, perhaps you have to pay. Then there are a third category that are completely paid. Only paid versions are available. They are excellent, naturally, but I mean, you need to pay. So payment is always 95% of them are in dollars. And for us, they are a little more expensive for, I mean, people living in America and other places, perhaps $5, $10 a month may not be much money. But for us, it's a lot of money for many of us. And that's why we may not like to go in for the paid versions. But in case you would like to invest a little money on these things, some of them are paid for life. Suppose you pay $25, the website is available to you all your life. So if you choose such websites and then if you have them with you, I think they are great, great, great tools. They are 1,000 times more useful than the books that you buy. Okay, so please do that. But so the first condition that I had in my mind was, as far as possible, let me give you free websites. The second condition that I had is, if you look at these 3 links, you will see the first one begins with HTTPS. The second one begins with HTTPS, and the third one begins with HTTP. If there are any computer teachers here, if there are any teachers who are familiar with what that means, they know that when you have this S added to this HTTP, this is a more secure website. Usually banks and finance-related companies, they use this secure websites. So when you have HTTPS, you are more assured that the data is safe, and then your system is safe, and then there is no miscreant behind that. Okay, so when you have HTTP, maybe the website is good, but you are taking a little risk, a slight risk. Of course, these are all language websites. I don't see any security threat here, but still, to be absolutely sure, I was choosing as many HTTPS sites as possible. But for an example, I chose this also because many things I really liked. That's really good. And that's why I chose this website also. Let's choose any one. So let me go on to Goodreads. I'll show it to you the next slide. Okay, Goodreads is here also. That's why I'm skipping that. Okay, so in case you want to read, and in case you want to build your reading skills, not only just read, but build reading skills. So here are a list of the sites that I am giving you, which offer you unlimited number of free access to books. Let me just show you one. This is Project Gutenberg. I think there's no, I don't think there'll be any language teacher or teacher who does not know what Gutenberg is. The Project Gutenberg is an effort to bring millions of books to our home free of cost, to our laptop free of cost. You can read almost everything here. And there are various versions. The PDF version is there, the text version is there, the Kindle version is there, etc., etc. And starting from the ancient classics to the most modern books, you can find almost everything. For instance, here you have the latest books that have been added. So you can go to a website like this and pick up a book that you want. And in case a free copy, a free version of that book is available, you can immediately open that. The book remembers, the website remembers how far have you read, how many pages have you finished. Next time when you go there, it opens the book at that page. It's like a bookmark. And it allows you annotating, it allows you a dictionary built in, and so many other things. I don't want to give you every detail, but you must explore them yourself. It's better. You will enjoy the thrill of going to these websites if you just go there and explore on your own. Okay, so these are all others. I think PDF Drive is a good one. Planet publish free books, many books, script. All script is a paid thing, or at least it needs an account to be created first before you use it for any of your purposes. And Goodreads is one. I'll just demonstrate this to you. Let's go to Goodreads. So you can read free for 7 days. And if you want unlimited books, you need to pay $9 a month. Maybe that's quite some money for you. I don't know, but maybe you can read magazines, books, audiobooks, documents, and a lot of other things, right? You can also have complete subscriptions to them. And it also does identify the best books and recommends them for you continuously, updates them. So you need to sign in, right? You want to go here, you need to sign in, but you can try this 7-day free version and try reading any one of these books. And I'm sure you will like it. And in case you subscribe to that, right? If you, even the audio versions also are there. So some of them have the audio text, the Kindle versions also are available, and try them. Okay, I'll stop here. Right, let me go back. Right, so these are a few others. ESL Good also is a great website for reading practice. It has lots of exercises built into that. It's not only the text that you can read, but also some grammar, like you have seen that breaking news. So here also exercises are built in and you can practice reading much more perfectly. Because like in the case of listening, reading is not just reading and then not understanding anything. You must have a way to check whether you have really read it or not. What kind of reading have you done? How much have you assimilated? How much you have grasped from that and what you can do with that. These are advertisements. Don't get distracted by them. So you can remove them, but still they'll appear again and again. So don't be distracted by them. You need to know which are advertisements. Don't unnecessarily click, because I mean, the web is like a jungle. Once you go in without knowing the way, they take you wherever they want. That's very unfortunate. So I get lost many times like that. Whenever I have some free time, I go in search of something, I find something else, I search for that, and then I search somewhere, and I end up somewhere else. Sometimes I feel my time is wasted. So instead, you must know which links to click, which to avoid, which to keep safe from. There are also some dangerous sites which you must avoid. Anyway, so let's come here. So there are some short articles. There are some articles by topic. There are some teacher resources here, books and products. Let me just choose a short article. Let me see what we can do with that. Okay, these are all articles here. I'll just choose any one of them. Rivers of Steel, historic. So the Lost Colony, let's try this. The Lost Colony. So what does it do? So it's beginning by asking you a question. Do you know the story of the Lost Colony? Right? So it's preparing you. There are vocabulary exercises based on that. There are some pre-reading questions. Ready? See, you don't have to prepare your lesson plan now. It's 100 times better than the best lesson plan that you can make. The best minds have already applied themselves to this and have created this great lesson plan for you. They have told you how much time does it take, what to read, when to read, how to read, right? The vocabulary items, right? Maybe you can go to each one of them and do whatever is essential for you at your level. And in case you are preparing from some competitive examinations, so the lesson focuses on that level only. So we'll go back. So what I was telling you was that there are lots of things that helps us either read books, learn from them, utilize them in our class, show them to our students, build our own reading skills, and at the same time help our students build their leadership skills, their reading skills. So again, this is one slide, perhaps may not be, I don't know if it will be relevant to non-English teachers, but at least English teachers must know this. So when you read a book, all books are not read for the same purpose. All books need not be read for the same purpose. So you have a non-detailed study text, you have a poem, book of poems, you have an essay, or maybe you have something else, a short story, a drama. Lots of different kinds of genres are prescribed in your classes. I think your universities do that. And in case your college is autonomous, you can choose your own course materials and you can include them. And you advise your students to read. Somebody already wrote in the chat box, read the newspaper. Right? Why do we read the newspaper? Not to improve our English skills, I think. So English newspaper does not help you improve your English skills. It perhaps helps you build your vocabulary. Or maybe it helps you build some kind of skills. My personal suggestion is, in case you want to learn English by reading, you must read some short story books. The reason is, short stories and novels have a lot of dialogue in them. Dialogue is in quotations. Conversation, one-to-one dialogue. So when there is one-to-one dialogue, automatically it helps me improve my speaking skills, my writing skills, my English language skills. When I read the newspaper does not have any, direct speech. It's all indirect speech. It's all reported speech. I don't think that helps my students pick up. Some teachers, maybe unknowingly or unfortunately, they advise students to go and read magazines, go and read newspapers, read this, read that. Read a poem. How will that help? Poem is for a different purpose. You read poetry for a different purpose. So in case you want to advise your students to read for the sake of improving their speaking skills, they must read short stories and dramas, and drama if it's written prose, not poetic drama again, and maybe novels. Lot of direct speech, lot of dialogue. Okay, right. Coming back to this. So in case I have a small passage like this, suppose I am teaching this to my class. I'm not going to test you on this, but I'm just demonstrating this. If I want to teach scanning to my students, what do? I ask them to keep their textbooks open, and now they have this text in front of them. I ask them some quick questions. I don't give them much time. What do? I go to the class and say, okay, in which country cloning began? So they immediately become, they take a few seconds to look here and there. What are the clues that are there in my question? Suppose I have asked them, in which country? They immediately say, at the back of their mind, they know that in which country means they must look for the name of a country. If it's a name of a country, it may be, or it should be written beginning with a capital letter, right? And if it's a country or a place, most likely it's preceded by a preposition in, at, etc. So it becomes easier for me. So I am using my language skills, which are not directly tested here. And when I'm scanning, for instance, even if I'm reading a newspaper, newspapers are best to teach scanning, right? So you don't go through everything. You just identify what do you want to read, and then quickly maybe see the headline, see some points, some highlighted things, or maybe some years, some names, etc. And the students answer the question. What's the advantage? The advantage is the student, once he answers it on his own, his enthusiasm develops. Suppose you go to the class and start teaching the text. It started in England in 1976. You write on the board and then you say everything, and the student has never used language in the class. I told you at the beginning. So how do I involve my students in the class? Every 50-minute period have at least 500 questions in the class. I'm sorry if I sound exaggerating it a little. I don't mean, I'm not exaggerating. 500 questions. All questions need not give time for the student to answer. But the moment I put it in the form of a question, the attention span increases. Okay, shall we move on to the next item? Yeah, here we come to the next item. That's all. Okay, right? That is point one. Shall we now go move point two? I think you need not wait after that, but it was in the form of a question. Because it was in the form of a question, the student's attention is greater. Right? I asked, what are the various animals who have been cloned? Suppose I ask that question. Immediately the students, oh, it's a list of items. The question is in the plural. There must be a list of maybe 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 animals. Where are they? Maybe they must be separated by commas. They quickly look around. Oh, cows, pigs, goats, horses, etc. Maybe many students participate in that. Almost every student participates in the class. So scanning has lots of advantages if you practice it in the class. Many teachers don't do that. What do they do? It's not the problem with the teachers, it's the problem with the system. What is the problem with the system? Teachers are not trained by anybody. Teachers do not know the methodologies that build these skills in the students. Anybody can become a college teacher. There's no degree required. Post-graduation is enough. Post-graduation is not a teaching degree. You are an expert in your subject. You are a gold medalist. So what? There's no guarantee that a gold medalist will teach better than anybody else. You know the subject, but you must know how to teach that content that you know. That is more important. Even if your knowledge is slightly less than somebody else's, you can still manage because knowledge can be obtained, but skills are difficult to gain. Unfortunately, again, in India, I don't know about other countries, but at least in India, UGC, AICTE, whatever are those bodies, no, they have not made any teaching methodology related degree compulsory for teachers to work. So what's happening? I go to a class, I don't know how to teach, and I know the subject. I read and paraphrase, give meanings, and give a summary, and come back and think that my job is over. That's the root cause of the problem. Okay, coming back to this. So if I want to teach scanning, maybe if I want to develop my students' skills, reading skills, scanning is a great reading skill, right? Skimming is a great skill. For instance, if I give the same paragraph to my students and say, okay, what is this paragraph? What is this passage about? I'll give you 30 seconds. In 30 seconds, you have to tell me what is this passage about. Just open the book on page 36 and quickly take a look at paragraph 1 and 2 and tell me what is that about. Close your books now. Tell me. Suppose I do something like this in my class. What happens? So in that 10 seconds, 20 seconds, they take a quick look at it and they'll tell you, maybe even if it's wrong, it's okay. But they are making guesses now. They're trying to read. So they're applying their mind to it. And they can all get it because, for instance, take this 2 paragraphs, for instance. So the first paragraph begins with the word cloning, and that's in bold. And the second paragraph has that bold phrase, 2 main procedures. Even if I use a little common sense, I can make out that, oh, this passage is about cloning, and it says that there are 2 main procedures. That's all. Enough. They've understood it. They are ready for my lesson now. Okay, let's go to the lesson next. This is a beautiful, teaching methodology, teaching technique. And if we miss that and go to the class and then give them paraphrase of the words, meanings of words and paraphrase of the paragraphs, I think I'm destroying the whole concept. Right? Encourage them to do active reading. I think some of you English teachers might know KWL. KWL stands for what do you already know? K stands for know. W stands for what do you want to know, and L stands for at the end of the lesson, what have you learned? So know, want to know, learned. So if you prepare a KWL chart for every lesson and begin with that, suppose you go to the class and write KWL there, and okay, you ask to, today we are going to read about Amitabh Bachchan. This lesson is about Amitabh Bachchan, and what do you know about Amitabh Bachchan? I write in column 1. What do you want to know about him? Sir, I want to know about his daughter-in-law. I want to know about his children. I want to know his achievements. I want to know about his first film. Students participate in the class. The class becomes active. Right, I write in the second column. I want to know. And the third column, I teach them the lesson. I come back to this chart and I tell them, okay, you wanted to learn this. Which ones have you learned? Which ones you did not? Which ones are relevant to you? Which ones are not? Some such technique, brainstorm. You can do wonderful, extremely involving brainstorms in your class so that the classes are agog with activity. Please try them. Language teachers, I mean, not only English again, any language. You may be teaching Sanskrit, but make your class active. Teach them scanning, teach them comprehension, teach them how to read a book faster, right? What is vertical reading? What is horizontal reading? What is speed reading? Some speed reading techniques. If you read them, I think then they will read more. Yeah, you introduce them to some good books. Okay, go to the library, find this book and read. Usually teachers complain, sir, my students don't bring books. My students don't do this. My students don't do that. My students are not interested in any book at all outside. I mean, these are all complaints. I also know, I've been a teacher I taught in rural colleges for 36 years before I retired 8 years ago. That means I started teaching 44 years ago. I am now 67 years old today, and 36 years, all my entire service was in rural areas. Starting the first day to the day I retired, I worked only in rural areas. So what? So whatever little can be done, must be done. Okay, I'm sorry I strayed a bit, coming back to this. So these are some small things that we must achieve when we are teaching our students reading. So everyone who is reading anything must have some realistic goals. Why am I reading this? Suppose you are reading a novel. Before you take that novel, ask yourself, what is this novel about? Why am I going to read this? How am I going to read it? Am I going to read it very fast, very slow, line by line, word by word, page by page, chapter by chapter? Am I going to skip through it? So what am I going to do? How am I going to read that? So you must have a strategy. You must have lots of questions before you read, while you are reading, after you read. That's the right way of reading a book. Otherwise, I mean, it's just reading another book, that's all. Useless. Suppose you want to read a short story, ask yourself, what is that I want to get from this? What questions do I have this? These 5 questions I'd like to find answers for while I am reading this story. You can try this even with a newspaper article. Tomorrow morning, what you do, you just take the newspaper, read the heading, and don't close the text, don't see it, right? Cover it with a paper, and then read the text. So before I read the text, the detailed text of this news item, from this heading, what do I expect to find in this text? Right? Okay, remove that paper and then read that. Check whether what you expected came right or wrong. Your reading comprehension will multiply instantly 10 times. Your interest will be aroused 10 times more instead of just reading the article and after 2 minutes you don't remember anything. Why is that happening? Because you did not have a purpose. Create a purpose for yourself. Make it a habit to make notes. Avoid distractions, physical, whatever. Choose the right place whenever you are reading something serious. Maybe the newspaper, perhaps you are used to read wherever you are. Many people have the newspaper in their hands, the television there, and somebody talking to you, some music playing here, something else happening here. 5 things, 6 things at a time. Nothing actually goes in. Astavadhanam has been proved to be, impossible. That is, let me not go into that science again. So, doing 8 things, not at the same time, but at simultaneous times, one after another, is possible. But not, the mind, the brain cannot do 8 things at a time. This is a scientifically proved fact. Again, that's a very highly controversial thing, but let me not go into that. So avoid the distractions, choose the right place, right? And in case, today for instance, yesterday I sent you a note saying, please bring a notebook with you. Keep a pen with you if you want to make any notes or take a screenshot. So what are the needs? Maybe I need a glass of water. So have I kept it with me? in case maybe I need water while I'm making a presentation, while I'm reading a book. So what are the things that I need? Is there enough light here? So which side I'm sitting, which side I'm focused. If you take care of all such small things, your reading will be much more engrossing and the outcome will be much more effective. Reading is not just going through the pages or lines of a book. No. And loud reading is not good. Encourage quiet reading. Especially your students may have the habit of reading aloud, lip movement, and all that you must dissuade. Discourage your students from that. Silent reading is the best form of reading. Okay, move on. Building speaking skills, the next skill. I think you don't need in many websites to teach you how to teach speaking. Maybe I'll just give you a 1 or 2 minutes time to think about this. Don't bother about what I'm going to show you next. Can somebody in the chat box tell me, how do you teach speaking? I want to help my students become conversant with speaking, fluent speakers of the target language, English. So how do I do that? Okay, group activity, very good. Ahmed says group activity, that's excellent. Very good, speak, speak, speak. That's beautiful, I like it. Kanti Revelda said, speak, speak, speak. Yes, make them speak, correct, right. Conducting conversation, good idea. Jam also is a very good idea, Dr. Shobha said. Usha Rani says, making them speak, yes. Role plays are good. Storytelling, Lakshmi Devi again. Sujani says, role plays. KGI, I think, says, please share PPTs. What do you do with PPTs? They are going to come to you anyway, don't worry about them. Then Gupta, give conversations, presentations, debates, pair work. Neeraja says pair work. Wonderful. Good, good, good. So these are the only, underline only, effective ways of teaching speaking. Because the teacher speaks good English, the students cannot pick up speaking skills. If you sit in front of a television, you do not improve your speaking skills. If you read the newspaper, you don't improve your speaking skills. The best models, suppose 5, 10 English people come and spend, 6 months in your house, and still you cannot improve your speaking skills unless you start speaking yourself. I think many non-English teachers also have this complaint. They are scared of speaking. They are shy. They are so very diffident that the moment they are invited to speak in English on some occasion, they feel so very terrible that they don't do it at all. Why? One, of course, I'm not talking about stage fear. That's a soft skill. That's a different thing. I'm talking about their speaking abilities. Why? They know English, perhaps. They can write beautiful English, right? They know grammar, but still they cannot speak because they have not practiced it. Practice, I told you, is the only key, the only tool. If you want to speak, you must practice speaking. So like all those wonderful answers that I have received from you. So try a role play, try a demo, try a presentation, speak to yourself, speak to others, speak in front of a mirror, and utilize every opportunity that you get. Whenever you are invited to speak on any occasion, don't say no, don't bother about the mistakes that you make. First, become fluent. If you become fluent, accuracy, grammar, and other things come automatically, gradually. Right? For some time, maybe till about a few centuries, till about a few decades ago, people used to focus only on accuracy. They would not put up with any grammatical errors. And that was one, very detrimental intervention. But today, teachers encourage students to speak fluently. Do not bother about the mistakes you make. Make mistakes, in fact. We encourage you to make mistakes. So that First become fluent, then gain courage, gain confidence, gradually build your language skills like it happened in your mother tongue. You did not become a Telugu expert, a Telugu grammatical genius right at the beginning when you are a child. You picked it step by step, bit by bit. The same thing happens in English also. Right. So let's see maybe one or two of them. So I'm sorry. Yeah. I think this is one of my favorites, Espresso English. I've been using it almost for 10 years, this website, Espresso English. Let me show you this website. It's really very useful. So Espresso English is not only reading, it gives you lots of things, almost everything that you need to know, right? So this is the front page. We'll go to some few samples. The free samples, you can also download them. I'm using any one of them, maybe vocabulary builder, American English listening course, idioms course. Shall we take idioms course? Maybe for non-English teachers may not find it interesting. Common errors. Let's take this. I think it's useful to everybody. Right. So first of all, how does it begin? It begins with a video presentation. Let's just see a bit of it. I think the audio is not playing. It's okay.
The couch is before buying it. How quickly can they finish the project? This software measures how efficiently the employees are working.
Okay. Maybe I don't need to play the whole of it. It's about 5 or 6 minutes. Don't worry about that. But what's the advantage here? So you see the text on the slide and the audio is playing simultaneously. So you can make a match between the two. What you see, how it's pronounced, how it's read. And you are developing speaking skills because it's in the form of questions and answers. There are questions here, there are answers. Whenever you speak in real life, you use a dialogue. What I am doing now is a presentation. This is not a conversation. If it has to become a conversation, I cannot speak for 10 minutes at a length. I speak only maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and then I ask a question. You participate, you speak, I respond. So conversation happens like that. Conversation is always in the form of short dialogue. Small sentences. Sometimes incomplete sentences. Okay? Sometimes fragments. And it's mostly in the form of questions and answers. Today evening after this class or after you go home, just, either make a note or maybe record anything that's happening at your own home, between you and your children, between you and your husband or wife, and some member of your family. Just 60 seconds what's happening. How many questions will be there, right? The whole thing happens in the form of questions and answers. It cannot be all answers, or it cannot be all questions. So there is a structure here, how plus adjective or adverb, and then there is a dialogue built on that structure, and you have the audio available and you have the video available. More important than that, so it also is giving you a mistake that's often made. Don't say the box isn't enough big for all the books. Instead say the box isn't big enough. Instead of saying enough big, say big enough. The class is big enough. The class is large enough. You don't say the class is enough large. So this is a common mistake. So based on a conversation that you have heard, so you are encouraged to speak a sentence and your speaking skills are improving. And there are lots of examples here. Enough goes after this. Old enough, smart enough, well enough, slowly enough, practice enough, eat enough, right? Then there is another error made in that conversation. One more error, one more. Common errors. How wonderful that is. So you are learning grammar, you are learning vocabulary, you are learning reading skills, you are learning speaking skills, and most importantly, you are learning speaking skills. You are improving your conversation. There are also questions based on conversation. I have not shown you the whole of it. I've just shown you, I've introduced you to the concept. There are whole courses built on this. There are ebooks available here. It's a beautiful website. Most of it is free. And moreover, if you subscribe to this, you get lots of free notifications. Whenever new lessons are available, whenever, some new releases are made, you get notified about that. I have been a subscriber to this for a very long time. Excellent website. And every one of them is excellent, actually. Right. Coming back to this. So Espresso English speak. Each one of them is slightly different from the other. Each one has different features. I am not showing every one of them because I don't have time for them. I would have loved to show every one of those websites to you if I had a 6-hour class or 8-hour class. But in fact, that would not be a good idea. This is better because I'm just showing one of them, and now you must explore. You must go home and try the other ones. Maybe while trying and searching for them, you will find something that interests you. That will be perhaps better than what you are seeing now. So identify something that exactly fits your interests or something that you like. And most importantly, something that fits your students' level. I don't know who your students are, what level they are, what quality they are, what background they are, how good or how bad their English speaking skills are. Depending on that, you can choose 1 or 2 websites and you can use them for your classroom practice. Okay, this is about speaking. Right, very important. Often, mostly neglected skill. Writing for many teachers and students, unfortunately again, many people think writing means, take me a passage from there and writing it down. Or writing, the only time students are seen writing is in the examination hall. They don't put their pens to paper and write even one single sentence of their own. How will they go and perform in an interview? So where is the mistake? There's no point in blaming the student. This fellow cannot write even one sentence. This fellow cannot speak even one sentence. They don't even say their names right. So these are complaints we are making, unfortunately, because we have not understood the cause of this problem. Why has this happened? Because they have never been asked to write. Maybe I'll open the chat box here. How many of you have given any writing task to your students when students had to write not something from the textbook, not something that they've learned by heart, but one sentence? For instance, I'll give you an example. Write one paragraph about your mother. How many of you have given tasks like that to your students? Please say, yes, I have. I think Viral Mystery has done very good. Congratulations. And Ahmed has done. Ganesh has done, nagaRAJU has done, Naga Padma has done, Lakshmi has done, Kanti Ramella has done many times, and Venugopalda has done. Good. I think you are teaching the right way. If you are doing it, Kalaivani has done, Sri Vijay has done, and we do it daily. Somebody from KKPT, I don't know what that is, yes, Srinivasa Babu has done. Very good. It's scrolling very fast for me to read. Okay, so in case you have done like that, you have understood the real purpose of teaching writing. As long as you are asking your students to write answer to question 1, write paragraph 1, or please copy down what I write on the board, or appear for this examination and do this. This is not writing. This is testing memory. You learned something and then you are reproducing that. Writing is always original, creative, one's own presentation of one's ideas on paper. You can even text that. Texting also is a form of writing. It need not be pen and paper. These days it's electronic, digital. So what medium you are using is not important. What are you doing is important. In fact, students are much more creative when they are using that WhatsApp rather than writing in the classroom, because the classroom does not many times encourage creativity, originality. It still is depending on memorizing presentations, essays, etc. Maybe it's better if they are texting something on their own. Even if they write bad English, it's fine, but they are texting on their own. So encourage them. Encourage them to write something on their own, like all these 15, 20 answers that I've seen that they have already been doing it. Others, in case you have not done, maybe I don't find fault with you, perhaps you have not been taught the technique of teaching writing, please do that. So these links that you see on the screen now are very, very, very useful. All these are again HTTPS. I have chosen them deliberately like that. And all these are safe and you can visit them and you can use them to build your own writing skills and to improve your students' writing skills. Readable.com. Purdue is the name of a university. So all Purdue Edu has lots of writing exercises at various levels and it's a very good site. Grammarly is again one of my favorites. I've been using it for a very long time. This thesaurus.com, I'll come to you and I'll show it to you. I think is beautiful because it begins from vocabulary level to much bigger level, higher level. Writing Center for teachers, extremely useful. Right, Zendesk. Let's see one or two of them. Let's begin with this thesaurus.com. I think non-English teachers perhaps know what a thesaurus is. There are many non-English teachers. Can any non-English teacher answer this question? What is a thesaurus? I don't get any answers. Okay, thesaurus is the opposite of a dictionary. What is the opposite? So suppose you want to know the meaning of a word, you go to a dictionary. The dictionary alphabetically lists words and gives the meanings. Sometimes what happens, I know the meaning, I know what I want to say, but I don't get the right word for that. I want to say it's beautiful, but beautiful is not the word that I want. I want some other word which means beautiful. So that's a thesaurus. So what does thesaurus do? So against the word beautiful, it gives all the possible synonyms so that I can pick the one that I have in my mind. Thesaurus is that, but here, not that thesaurus. This is something more than that. This is writing prompts. I'm going to that website now. Is it opening? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why it's taking so long. In the meanwhile, I get some chat answers here. Somebody says it's very valuable. Thank you. Where can we find equivalent words? All dictionaries and all thesaurus give you equivalent words. Right, we have come to this website. So how to use writing prompts. Okay, I'll show you how. Writing tool. Okay, let's take any one example. Writing prompts for kids. Gratitude. Let's take this example. So look for prompts about writing about gratitude. Suppose you want to teach your students the art of showing gratitude to somebody. I want to write a short paragraph about gratitude. Gratitude. Suppose somebody has done me some favor. I want to show my gratitude. Or I consider myself being blessed and I want to show my gratitude to God, to nature, to friends, to my family, to everybody. So I want to say, but I don't know the right English for that. Okay, so here is look out of the window. The question says, okay, so how do I write? There are some prompts here. Look out of the window and describe something beautiful about the outside world. There is a plant outside, there's a bird outside, there's a flower outside, there's a bird outside. And then how do you want to show your gratitude? Then there is a short note here. Then that helps you. How do I write a death scene? How do I write a great female character, etc., etc. So there are prompts given. Sometimes sentence clues are given. Sometimes the necessary vocabulary is given, depending on the level of the students again. Based on that, the student can start writing. What really happens in graduate class, because I taught at the graduate level most of my life and a very short part of my life at the postgraduate level, what personal experience is that what happens is teachers go to the class, okay, today write an essay about the use of television or India and China, the Cold War between them. So I give a topic and I ask my students to write. What do they write? Many of them fail because they don't know content, because they don't know how to write an essay, because they don't have the vocabulary, because they don't know how to organize their ideas. Nothing. You just go to the class and say, okay, write an essay. When will this COVID end, this lockdown end? Okay, the topic is interesting. Good. You expect your students to know everything about that. But the writing process does not happen like that. I'll come back to this maybe. Actually, I would like to spend a little more time on this, but maybe we need to save time. Okay. So writing is a process. Writing is a very highly methodical procedure. Writing does not happen like that. Suppose I want to write one page about something that I have chosen. This applies to all teachers again, not only English teachers. Suppose you are a biology teacher, or a political science teacher, or a public art teacher, or a history teacher, whatever. Suppose you want to write one page article about something. You want to send an article to some magazine. What is the first thing that you do? Don't take the pen and start writing. That's the big mistake that we make. That is for expert writers. There are expert writers, whole novels are written in one go, and I mean, language flows just out of them. Their brain is very highly structured and things just flow like that. But we are not like that. What should we do? We should begin by doing a little research about that topic. There must be plenty of time spent on that. If I want to write an article tomorrow, today I must sit down either in a library or in front of my laptop or with some books at home, and I must do some research and gather ideas. Okay, this idea is interesting. This is going to be one of the points that I'm going to. This idea is interesting. This idea is interesting. This idea is interesting. So 5, 6, 7 ideas I have chosen. Then I spend some time creating an outline. So I just think to myself, how do I begin? Maybe I'll begin with the Wuhan incident. Maybe I'll next come to this point. Next, I'll write about these 4 things. Maybe I'll write about one paragraph about the advantages, the good things that have happened. So like that, I structure. I prepare a rough draft. Then I edit it from all these aspects. So maybe something needs to be added, something needs to be removed, something needs to be moved, one paragraph to be moved here, one paragraph to be moved above. Maybe some words I need to substitute, etc., etc., etc. I take care of all this. This is all called editing. And then I publish the final paper. I send it to a journal or a magazine or somewhere. It's likely to be published. So the chances of my articles getting published are much brighter if I follow a structure like this. Suppose I don't do that. Suppose I take a piece of paper and then start writing, and then I go, I'm not a Ramanujam to be recognized luckily by somebody. Even a genius like Ramanujam perhaps would not have been known to the world, would have been ignored and would have been lost to mankind if one bright scholar in Oxford had not sown these scribbling on those waste papers. We are not, I don't think we are that lucky. Even if we are geniuses, our writing must be structured. So structured means what? Going back by one slide, I'll show you this. So whatever you write must have unity. Everything must relate to one idea. For instance, the heading is COVID. Everything in that must relate to COVID only. Suppose the heading of my article is advantages of COVID instead of COVID. So the whole article must be about advantages only, not about disadvantages. So the title decides what's going in. Right? So that's called unity. Then it must have coherence, structured properly. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. It's like a ladder. Then some supporting stuff, some statistical data, some facts, evidence. Suppose I say something, evidence 1, point 1, evidence 1. Then the right language, of course, English teachers come into play here. So whatever I write must be in good English. The grammar must be good, spelling must be right, vocabulary must be appropriate, properly punctuated, etc., etc. Only if these 4 qualities are maintained, 4 features are taken care of, then only it's good writing. If any one of these 4 factors are missing, the writing is considered as bad. Your language may be excellent, but organization is not there. First. You are perfectly structured, but in bad language, no. All these 4 things must be there. So whatever you write is evaluated on a yardstick of these 4 points. Keep that in mind. So coming back to this, so these are the various websites. I suggest Writing Center also is a good website. Edu stands for the education related websites like .com, .org. Edu always relates to education. And readable.com, though the name is readable, there are lots of writing skills here. Purdue, as I told you, is a university. Shall we see Grammarly, or maybe we'll see that when we come to grammar. Okay, Writing Center, take a quick look at it and go. What does this do? Right, the Writing Center is run by University of North Carolina. There are many courses, writing courses here. There are writing groups that will help you. There are lots of workshops happening and many resources available to those who want to write, right? And you need to sign up here so that you can go. But excellent writing tools are here. Tips and tools are here, right? How to cite. Those who are doing any PhD, MPhil, any research work, this is the best website for you. Because it teaches you how to write a paper, what are called citations, how do you do that citation, what is that MLA sheet, etc. What are cliches, how to draw conclusions. And I mean, this is all called academic writing. Academic writing, technical writing are highlighted here, and then email communication, CV, how to write a resume. Maybe in case you want to teach your students how to write a resume, how to write a CV, this is helpful. Business letters, abstracts, etc., etc., etc. I'm sorry, I don't have time to go into each one of them, but these again are extremely useful. There is English language support here. So there are again courses here available to you, right? Okay, you can take a course on speaking, a course on writing, you can participate in a workshop, and there are some tools available to teachers here. And you can also submit a draft and they'll help you improve. I think it's a paid service. There are lots of paid services available to the market which give you an excellent editorial support for a small payment. If you want to publish, I think in whatever subject, I mean, there are teachers of other subjects. If you want to publish, the best thing to do is you prepare an article and then pay a little money. There are professional bodies available that help you improve your language, organize your content better, make them more cohesive, and give you a report about the changes that are necessary. And with your approval, they make those changes and give them back to you. Professional, right? There are many, many, many sites like that. Search for one that best fits your budget and need and use that. So writing is a very important skill that needs to be developed in your students. We are coming towards the end. Vocabulary. I told you this, one of the 7 skills that need to be built for yourself and for your students. I think this has the largest number of resources available on the web. One that I love most, my most favorite website is onelook.com. Onelook.com is not just a dictionary, it's a lot more. What can you do here? So this is the home page of that website, very simple looking and very easy. Suppose I want to find out the meaning of a word. I'll type definition. What have I done? I have searched for definition. So what has it done? It has given me 29 dictionaries in which the definition of the word definition is listed. I can go to any dictionary and read that. Instead of searching for 29 dictionaries separately, all 29 dictionaries and the meanings are here. For instance, I want to refer to Collins dictionary. I can just click here. It takes me to the Collins dictionary and then it gives me the meaning of the word definition. Similarly, out of these 29, the Macmillan dictionary meaning is already given here. Definition means clarity of outline. As a noun, it means a concise explanation of the meaning of a word or a phrase or a symbol. So the meaning is here. Then there is another meaning here. There is its pronunciation here. Everything here. This is not the end of it. This, I think, beautiful. Everybody must use this onelook.com every day, irrespective of the subject you teach. Whatever subject you teach, today go and have it on your desktop and then try it and then maybe visit it as many times as necessary. The more beautiful thing about this is, suppose I come across a word, somebody uses the word, for instance, a course in physics. Suppose you don't know the spelling of the word course. How do you search for that? Maybe you know that the first letter is course, C-O-U-R-S-E or C-O-A-R-S-E or maybe whatever, so you don't know. What you can do, you can just put maybe an asterisk there and you can just search for the spelling that you do not know, all possible combinations of words. Of course, sometimes you may get even confused about them. It becomes easier if you know how many letters that is. Suppose I know that it's a 6-letter word. U-R-S-E. Suppose I search like this, and maybe I have got maybe 5 words: C-O-A-R-S-E, C-O-M-O-S-E, C-O-R-P-S-E, C-O-U-R-S-E, and maybe I can just click here. Here itself I find the meaning, and then I realize, oh, this is the word that I want. And if you are a word lover, suppose you want to find out all the words that begin with CO. There will be several thousands of them. You don't know how many words there are, but maybe you would like to find all the words. So there are many, I think, thousands of them. I think this page 1, we can go to the next page and next page and next page. Or maybe the same way you can do it with the last 3 letters, you know, the rest of the word that you do not know. Or maybe you don't know 2 letters in between, the rest of it you know. Or sometimes you know the word begins with CO, but the meaning is rough. There is a word that begins with CO, but I don't know what word that is. I don't know even how many letters that is, but the meaning is rough. So what do? So I do this, and then I get some words or some adjectives. Suppose there are 6 or 7 adjectives that give that rough meaning, and I choose one of them. I think you can do miracles with this. If you are a crossword solver, if you are a riddle solver, or if you want to play with words, if you want to identify words that are similar sounding, similarly spelt, similarly pronounced, I think sky is the limit, or even sky is not the limit.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, it's nearly 12:25.
Shall we stop here?
No, sir. For after 5 minutes, shall we go with question answers, sir?
Oh, yes.
Session, if they have any.
Wonderful. Sure.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
I'll finish exactly in 5 minutes.
Thank you, sir.
Right. So this is about vocabulary, and the last one that I had was grammar skills. So these are all links that takes you to, you can just take a screenshot. Maybe only English teachers perhaps need them. Non-English teachers may not benefit them from much, but I think Grammar Monster, the last one, is my favorite. You can use any one of them, but there are lots of grammar lessons which are very easy to teach, very easy to learn from, and you can use them directly in your class. Okay, so this is my last slide. You can also use lots of mobile apps that are available. Again, my favorite is Hello English. In fact, today morning, I sent you an assignment. I requested all of you to download this Hello English. Hello English is bilingual. It teaches you English through your mother tongue. You can choose English and Telugu, English and Hindi, English and Marathi, etc. And the lessons are sent to you day after day, every day. And every lesson comes with lots of exercises built in, depending on your level. And you also earn some kind of incentives. There is gamification built into that. I think it's really very interesting. I request you to recommend any one website like this, any one app like that to all your students also. Hello English is my favorite. It need not be your favorite. If you find something anything more interesting or equally interesting,